Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Dreamer, and I just wanted to get on here, and I was getting the nudge that somebody out there, or maybe a few people, are struggling with relationship things, maybe some relationship drama, maybe having some type of an inner tug of war, like should I stay, should I go? And I've been through a lot with relationships over, you know, 4 decades or so. I'm just going to put that out there. And I feel like the amount of insights that I've gained from relationships, what to do, what not to do, I feel like I'm just getting a calling to put it out there in hopes that it helps somebody. I'm just getting the nudge that somebody, or maybe a small collective, needs to hear this advice. I'm going to be going over some red flags, and I've made an entire list here of red flags. And honestly, this is going to sound a little bit crazy when you start to hear all of these red flags, but I went through this entire list from just one relationship, and it was my very last one that I had that was a breakup. So I will be getting into that list here shortly. But yeah, I just had the nudge that this is going to help somebody either move on or let go, or maybe give somebody confirmation that they're in the right relationship and you've just got a few things to work through. So really, I don't know at this point what I'm going to make the title of this video, but why the universe sends you someone you're not meant to be with. And it's basically all about letting go and choosing yourself. There's something to be said about the pain that you go through, the back and forth, the inner turmoil. It's like a roller coaster, through life, and it's the highs are high and the lows are pretty low. And I'm not going to say that that's a fun time. That is not a peaceful way to live. That is traumatizing for your nervous system. And if any of you are going through that, I'm just going to tell you, take it with a grain of salt, do what you will, but I'm going to say get the heck out, because that's no way to live. So, this is all about waking you up. Why would you be sent somebody that you're not meant to be with, but you have such strong feelings for and such chemistry with, and you know that it's reciprocated? Why would that be sent to you? Well, it's to wake you up. It's to help you go through an awakening process. Is that person consciously aware that that is the role they're fulfilling in your life? No, probably not. But at a soul level, they may have a contract with you that, hey, I'm going to come in and be a total butthead, and you're going to be the victim of me being a butthead, and you're going to have to choose yourself and work through this. You're going to have to let go of this completely, choose yourself, and move on. And that's the soul lesson. That's what you're supposed to learn, is to choose yourself. So, and that was my lesson, which I'll get into a little bit more. You can't save someone or force them to wake up before they're ready to wake up. They might not wake up in this lifetime, spiritually, and that's totally okay. You don't know what their soul journey is. And it's not for you to determine or figure out. But you can't save someone from their soul lessons. You can't save someone from themselves. It's really about radical acceptance and walking away in most cases, because that's what happens eventually. I don't believe, I wouldn't say that I believe in traditional marriage. I'm open to it. I've been around healthy adults that were in long relationships, long marriages that lasted a lifetime. So I'm not like traumatized from childhood with marriage, but I just don't believe that most relationships are meant to last a lifetime. Maybe you've had a few divorces in life. Does that mean that you failed? No, it just means that those lessons were over, that it was time to move on. So yeah, can't force somebody to wake up. Walking away, radical acceptance, and you can't wait around for somebody to wake up. You can't put your own life on hold. It's really about choosing yourself, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. But, what's the difference between a karmic relationship versus somebody that's a true soulmate, or basically someone you're meant to stay with long term? So, karmic relationships are like torture, is what I would call it. The ups and the downs. It's really like living your whole life on a roller coaster. That's one way that I can explain it. So I did make a list of. So this is what I went through in my last relationship that had a crazy breakup, and I think it was really meant to wake me up and help me to choose myself, and then moving on from that. So here's a list. If this sounds like something you're going through, I'm just going to tell you to get the heck out. This is not something you want to hang around in. It's not good for you. It's not good for your self-esteem. You've hung around long enough, you've learned the lesson, or maybe there's some red flags. If you're seeing red flags in the beginning, don't even go there. Just get out. Learn the lesson in the beginning, choose yourself, and you won't even have to go through all of the trauma. So here's number one: lying to you. Even small lies. That is a huge red flag. If somebody is, this might trigger some people, but if you have somebody that is telling you small lies all the time, that means that they definitely can't be trusted with finances, with not cheating on you, with, not lying to you about bigger things. How are you going to trust somebody with big things if you can't even trust them to tell you, like, oh, they went to the store, but they didn't actually go to the store. They were doing something else. And you might not know the purpose of them lying to you, but it's the fact that they're untrustworthy. And it is also an opportunity to look within and be like, I am dealing with somebody that's untrustworthy. How am I not trusting myself? Or how am I being untrustworthy in my life? And it might not be in the same way, but still it's a good opportunity to reflect and look within. So I will also say lies that explain away the other lies, so they get deeper and deeper into these lies. And when you look back at it years later, you're like, wow, they were just telling a lie to fill in a lie, to fill in another lie. It's a slippery slope, my friend. I'm just going to say that. So if somebody is lying to you and you're catching lies, that is a huge red flag. Run the other way. I am telling you, get out, run away, because that is not going to change. And that is not healthy. I mean, do you always want to be questioning whether somebody's telling the truth or lying to you? No. Nobody wants to live that way. So, and the thing is, a lot of those times, they don't even know that they're lying. They could become, I want to say like a lie factory. I don't know why that's coming out, but they could just be lying all the time, and they're lying to themselves. They may be lying so much that they're even believing their own lies. So, red flag number one, lies. Or, lies of omission, leaving things out. I mean, it's all a deceptive mask, and nobody needs a partner like that, Another red flag, you don't feel good around them. Like you feel bad about yourself. Like you're growing to feel like you're not good enough for them, or you're not pretty enough, or you're not smart enough, you're not something enough. You feel your self-confidence start to wane and start to dwindle over time when you're with somebody. That is a huge red flag. You should not feel that way around somebody that you are meant to be with. Run the other way. If you felt attractive when you got with them, and then slowly you're feeling your self-confidence slipping away, huge red flag. Like, let's say you felt attractive, felt fit, and then suddenly you feel like, oh, maybe I'm not skinny enough, or maybe my boobs aren't big enough, or maybe my butt is too big or not big enough, or whatever that is. Maybe I'm too short, maybe I'm too tall, whatever the excuse is, whatever stories we tell ourselves. But when you're with somebody long enough and your confidence starts to wane, and then suddenly you're like, okay, I need to go get hair extensions. Nothing wrong with hair extensions. I did them. It was super fun. But that was actually one thing I did because I didn't feel like I was good enough in that past relationship. Not judging anybody else for having them. I think they're fun. I think it's a cool idea sometimes to wear the clip-ins, and who knows, maybe just for fun on a vacation, I'll put in some more hair extensions. I don't know. So no judgments about them, but I'm just saying that's why I did them. It's something I wanted to experience, yeah, but at the same time, I felt like I needed it to be more attractive. It was the weirdest thing, and I've never really been through that in a relationship before. But suddenly was finding myself wanting to do all of these things. I'm like, maybe I should try, Botox. Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should try that. And just not feeling good enough. Huge red flag if you suddenly don't feel good enough around them. This is, this gets into the next red flag, which is your body reacting and not feeling safe. It's because you're not. And I'm not saying this person is going to be physically abusive to you, but your body is telling you that you are not safe in that relationship and you need to get out. Because remaining in it is going to be really bad for you, very detrimental to your entire life over time if you just stay in it. So your body reacting, let's say you have a stomach ache. That was happening to me. I was getting like stomach aches, restless nights, honestly, as I'm thinking about this, one thing leads into another. But I did make this list out, so I'm going to try to stay in order. But, I would be up sometimes like half the night or all night, kind of in and out of sleep with a stomach ache, looking over the texts that we had, and suddenly we're not speaking for a day or two, or maybe we got in a fight that day, and I'm up with a stomach ache. Well, I've got shit to do tomorrow. I've got things I've got going on. I can't just put my life on hold. But that's what was happening. It was just being in this person's energy was constantly making my life worse. So if your body's reacting with stomach aches and pains, I will say this. I was in the Army and I did jump out of planes, and I will say, especially the first time, your body feels the need to procreate. You feel the need to reproduce. And so you're having these bodily urges. And so when you're about to jump out of a plane, you feel the need to procreate because it's such a, oh my gosh, I might die, that it's a survival instinct. And your body's like, maybe I should make another human real quick to carry on the human race. It's just a survival instinct. It's just something that the body naturally does. It's, it would be very hard to control that. And if that is something that's happening for you, huge red flag, get out. You might see that as like, oh, huge attraction. But it's not that. It's just your body's visceral reaction to wanting to survive because you're not safe and you need to get out. Okay, so, and I'm just going to put that reminder out there that this was all from one relationship, okay? One. So keep that in mind as we keep going forward. Okay, they put you down, even jokingly. And it's not just about you. They might, let's say they have kids. Let's say they have young girls, and they're putting them down. And whether they're joking or not, think about yourself as a child and your own parent or an adult putting you down and then saying, oh, just joking. That's not okay. That's a huge red flag. If somebody's behaving like that, I don't want to be in a relationship with that. I'm just saying I stayed way too long in that. So please, no judgments from any of you out there. So yeah, if they're putting you down or making jokes about your appearance or something like that, or like they call you dumb and then they're like, oh, just kidding, whatever that is, they're just trying to, whether they're conscious of it or not, they are trying to whittle away your confidence so that you won't leave them. And like I said, some people are unconsciously doing this. Some people are full-blown narcissists, and they are doing that on purpose to whittle you down so you won't leave, so you'll think that you're not good enough for anybody and they're the only person that will ever love you. If this is happening to you, get out. I'm just saying. I think I'm going to say get out after every red flag. So even if they're joking, You know, like, I mean, if somebody called you fat and said just joking, would you think that they were joking? Or would you suddenly start to become self-conscious? Like, nobody needs that. Nobody needs some voice over their shoulder telling them that they're unattractive or that they're whatever the thing is. Just get away. Another red flag, breaking their promises. They're like, yeah, I promise I'm gonna, I'm gonna come over, da 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 da, and then like they don't. This person that I dated broke their promises like on a weekly basis. It was quite insane. Or they'd say like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do this and that and that and that, and then they would do something completely different. And that might seem like a benign kind of thing, but it was a pattern. It wasn't just like a one-time thing. That's another red flag. And that may be because they have their own inner demons, maybe some energy attachment, some other things going on, which is a whole other red flag, I would say. But if somebody breaks their promises or tells you they're going to do one thing and then they do another, and it's a pattern, get away. Get out. Next red flag, their life is a mess. There's a quote in the Bible, and I'm going to totally butcher it, my apologies, but it is, by their fruits ye shall know them. It's something to that effect. If somebody's life is a complete mess, how would you expect to interact with them and your life to not slowly become a mess also? Right? It's like the one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. That person's energy rubs off on you. And especially if you're in a romantic relationship and it's a sexual relationship, there is an energy exchange going on. It's you can't be with somebody romantically and not have an energy exchange. So that shit will rub off on you. So if their life is a complete mess and, they're having problems with work, and they're having problems with, other relationships, friendships, children, parents, whatever it is, or they're constantly getting into arguments with other people. Huge red flag. Huge red flag. Yeah, I really like that. I really like that quote, by their fruits ye shall know them. So if somebody's mostly got a peaceful demeanor, they're a happy person, let's say that their financial matters are, for the most part doing well, they're able to eat and provide for the family. They're able to have happy, fulfilling conversations with you and others. Their house isn't a disaster on the inside or the outside. If they've kind of got their shit together, that's a green flag in my book. But if somebody's just messy, their emotions are unstable, all that stuff, that is huge red flag, and I'm going to say it again, get out. Next red flag, victim mentality. Okay, so when I first got together with this particular person, they were a victim from the get-go. They talked about their past marriage, their past relationships, how they were such a victim, and this happened to me. And I'm not saying that, some of that's not true. Some of it probably was. Was all of it true? Probably not, because they were also, red flag number 1, a huge liar. So, and I say that not as a judgment, but just as a fact with, all the lies I caught them in. So, victim mentality, not taking responsibility. I remember when I found that he had been watching porn and he blamed it on his friend. He's like, well, so-and-so, told me about this years ago when I was married, and, it's his fault, da da da. I'm like, okay, so he's been forcing you to watch porn for the last, 7 years or whatever it was. And it's his fault every day that you choose with your own body and mind to do this, so, and that used to be a triggering thing for me. And now I can just kind of laugh about it because it's pretty silly at this point. I mean, that's what moving on and clearing past traumas does. You can move on, laugh about things, look back and be like, yeah, that happened. And, there's no residual energy left over from it. But that victim mentality, never taking responsibility, always pushing it off on somebody else. And it could even be in small ways too. But this was a huge pattern that I saw. And I didn't really I actually felt sorry for him. I was like, oh, like, you poor thing, you were mistreated and blah, blah, blah. And, looking back, I'm like, well, I wanted to treat you the same way because of the bullshit you were doing and all the lies you were telling. Like, you literally create this in other people. So, and then you'd be offended by what he was creating. I also heard that quote from a good friend. They said, stay away from people who are offended by what they create. I'm going to say that again. Stay away from people that are offended by what they create. If someone is behaving a certain way and they make all of their friends treat them a certain way because of their behavior, or all of their relationships, that's a huge red flag as well. I mean, so the victim mentality thing is real. It could even come up in small ways, but yeah, if you're always feeling like, oh, I need to stick up for this person, or like, oh, you poor thing, or like, oh, that is a victim mentality, and it's a huge red flag. I'm gonna say it again, get out. Okay, next red flag, gaslighting. Getting you to not trust in your intuition. And actually, this ties into a later red flag where it's really about your intuition. So I woke up one morning, when you're in that brainwave state. Is it alpha state? I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's theta or delta, but you're in that brainwave state where you're not fully awake, but you're not asleep anymore. You're kind of coming to. And that's when you get a lot of your downloads and messages. And my guides told me in a telepathic voice, they said, someone is hiding things from you. And I was like, wait, what? And then the next morning, I actually heard a specific name, a female name. So if you're getting intuitive hits about this person, and maybe you're, I was also having visions of things that were happening that would have been considered cheating. I had dreams, very explicit dreams, very specific, that were telling me what was going on. And that should be red flag number one. If your guides are telling you to get out and showing you what's going on, that is pretty much the same thing as seeing it in person. And with the gaslighting, with this red flag, when you bring it up to that person, and then they make up lies and just completely deny it, and or they get angry because they're triggered that you are onto the truth and you're onto something, and so their hackles are raised and they're just pissed off. That's called gaslighting. So when you're onto the truth and you're out there, you're onto it, they will gaslight you and tell you more lies to get you to not trust in your intuition. That is super messed up. And I don't want to be, I sound all like judgy about it, like I've never done anything wrong in a relationship. Quite the opposite. But I'm just trying to give you guys the lowdown of red flags. I've, been on the other side of relationships where I've been the bad guy as well. Not doing all of these things, but the gaslighting is, yeah, it's a huge red flag. You're getting intuitive hits and then somebody's lying to you, telling you not to trust that. That's a huge red flag. So next red flag, bursts of anger, which kind of ties into the last one. You're calling somebody out on their BS and they get angry and they start yelling at you over the phone or, in person, especially when they're being called out, or even if you're just asking them simple questions and you're not even trying to pry into something. You'll be like, oh yeah, did you go to the store? And they suddenly get angry. Huge red flag. They're hiding stuff from you. And I'm just going to say, get out. What more is there to say about it? Another red flag, deleting texts, it could be social media messages, photos. If they're deleting communications from other people, huge red flag, you need to get out. I don't care what the reason is. If they're lying to you about things, they cannot be trusted. And you just need to leave. I actually saw deleted texts that, there's a way that you can delete them permanently, but I had seen that there were some texts that weren't fully deleted. And that was a huge red flag because there were lies involved with that. When's the last time you talked to this person? Oh, like months ago. Well, it turns out they had texted him like while they were driving up to see me that day, and then deleted their whole text chain. You know, huge red flag. Even if there's nothing wrong with those specific messages, that's how affairs and cheating actually start, in my opinion. And I know that there's a lot of people that agree with me. If you're hiding things from your spouse or your partner, that is cheating. Lies of omission are cheating. Deleting messages and texts, that's cheating. Like, there is no question about it. Is that something the universe wants you to do? Is send messages and delete them and then lie about it and then make the other person question their intuition and sanity? No, that's not something that your source, your creator, would want you to do and wouldn't want the other person to go through either. So how about just don't? Huge red flag, and get away from that person. Let's see. If you have a huge difference in your spiritual and or religious beliefs, that is, I'm not going to say it's a red flag, but that's something that is not going to go away unless suddenly that person, converts you to their religion or vice versa or whatever that is. I mean, unless one of you is planning on converting to the other, if somebody is like a Catholic, the other one's a Protestant, that's whatever. But I mean, if somebody is into spirituality and the other one's a complete atheist, or if someone is heavily involved in the church and is judgy of people that are spiritual that don't go to church, that's probably not going to work out very well. So, maybe it's not a red flag, but it's something to look at that is a mismatch in energy. Let's see. So I've got a whole other side page here. So, okay, another red flag. So if you guys have good sexual chemistry, and my relationship was actually long distance. It was about an 8-hour drive. So if you have a good sexual chemistry and that person gets to your house or vice versa, and suddenly they're not kind of, dying to have that special time with you, they are either A, cheating on you, or B, watching porn, or C, other, something else that's weird or kind of shady, or that they're lying to you about. So, huge red flag if that is going on, unless like there's some kind of health problem, which actually this person did kind of chalk this up. He's like, well, I listened to a podcast about like children, da 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 da. But I found out later, actually, he'd like watched an entire weekend of just porn like all the time, and then just gaslit me. He lied to me, then gaslit me about lying to me. And looking back at it, it's like, wow, that actually happened, So if this helps somebody else, I hope that you're not, if you're listening, I hope you're not going through something like this. But if you are, it's a red flag. It's time to walk away. You don't need somebody lying to you, cheating on you, watching porn behind your back and lying. It's one thing if somebody comes out and says, hey, I have a porn addiction or something like that. But if you both have the belief that that's cheating, and then they're still doing it and lying to you about it, and then saying, oh, I would never do that, guys, just get out. That's not the relationship you want to be in. Another red flag, not taking care of the body. So, unless that's something that you're okay with and you're also kind of in that same encampment. But, if somebody is smoking all the time, drinking all the time, vaping all the time, eating at McDonald's all the time, if they're eating poor food and they don't even care where their food comes from, your body's supposed to be a temple, not a garbage pit, right? So we have one body, we're supposed to take care of it. Like, that's kind of one of the rules. The body is a temple. So also, this goes back to the lying thing, but if they are doing those kind of behaviors and also hiding it from you, get out as soon as you can, because they're lying to you about other things too. So, also, if there are small red flags in the beginning, even catching small little lies in the beginning, I'm just going to tell you, it's a telltale sign that you just need to not even go there. And then we covered this earlier, hearing, seeing, or knowing intuitive hits, dreams, etc. We kind of tapped into this earlier. But yeah, I was hearing, seeing, and knowing all kinds of things, dreaming all kinds of things. And actually, there was one morning where we had both woken up and he had had a dream about me and I had a dream about him. And I didn't know what my dream was trying to tell me about him. I know now. And he had had a dream. And I knew that parts of that dream were true. I knew what his guides were trying to tell him through that dream. He didn't. But looking back on it, we were both having dreams about each other, showing what the other person was doing. So, I'm not saying if you have a dream that your partner cheats on you, that they're absolutely cheating on you. Maybe that's just one of your fears being purged from your pantry kind of thing. So, but if that kind of thing keeps coming up, it might be something worth looking into. Another red flag, if they have a wandering eye, and or let's say that you don't have trauma from a past relationship, which I don't really think that I did. I think everything was pretty okay. So if you don't have trauma from the past, if you have not been cheated on that you know of, you don't have somebody that was like having a wandering eye or stepping out on you, and suddenly you feel with this person that either you see them having a wandering eye, checking out other people, or if you just suspect that something is off and you have a feeling about it, guess what? Something's off. And you probably need to walk away because that's not going to change. So I'm just going to leave that there. Yeah, and I feel the need to reiterate that you need to listen to your intuition, listen to your body, because energy does not lie. Another red flag, constantly fighting. You have this hot and cold energy, and this, that's not going to change. I mean, if you're constantly going back and forth with somebody, it's like a roller coaster, maybe you're breaking up and getting back together. Guys, it's not going to get better. It's better to just end it. Just take the time spent, take the time lost, just chalk it up as a good lesson in what you don't want, and then just walk away, and you're going to be so much better for it. Let's see, what else? Going through, I can't even read my own handwriting, going through cycles with them. Yeah, the breakup, the makeup. Now, most couples are going to have a few fights here and there. That's completely normal. If you're not having at least some disagreements or some fights, you guys probably don't even care, and there's probably no fire there in the beginning, or at all. So, if you're going through cycles with them and it's just a constant thing, I mean, that's not a way to live. Okay, so another red flag, emotional upsets, turmoil, sleepless nights. Kind of covered this one already. Was having stomach aches and just always feeling like crap about that relationship. That's a really good sign that you don't feel good in it. You're going to feel better when you leave. High highs and very low lows, like a roller coaster. Kind of touched on that one already. This cycle actually wreaks havoc on your nervous system, and it cannot be maintained long term. It is terrible for your health. I know I was going through that cycle, and I was actually like losing some hair and just not thriving in that relationship. I'm just gonna say it that way. So if your health is being affected, guys, how is that gonna get better? You're gonna argue your way out of it, or convince somebody to change or whatever. It's not gonna happen. You're just gonna be better off if you leave. Let's see. If they are always defensive, I shouldn't say always, that's drastic, but if somebody is often defensive and triggered and emotionally turbulent, huge red flag. You're not going to fix that person's problems. It's time to get out. Also, I should say, if there's any type of physical abuse or physical control and things like that, even, mental, some of these things were mental abuse and mental control, but any type of physical abuse, if they're grabbing your arm, like, hey, or any kind of thing, if they're yelling at you, that kind of thing, guys, that is abuse and you need to get out. And if it's severe, I mean, obviously you're going to need to make a plan to leave that isn't going to trigger them, if that makes sense. If there's somebody out there and you're in some kind of physical abuse situation, that's a whole other video, a whole other thing, and you definitely need to make a plan to safely get out of that. But, if somebody is, rough with you and things like that, I would highly suggest getting out of that, because it's not going to get better. Another red flag, if they are constantly running away or pushing you away, just let them. Once people show you who they are, you got to believe them. And then when they keep showing you that, you can't get mad at them for that. You can only look to yourself and be like, well, you know what? On day 2, they showed me who they were, and I didn't believe them. And it took me, 80 chances for me to get it. And that, I'm saying that's me. I was in the slow class on that relationship. So, and that's officially the end of my long list. This is turning out to be much longer than I thought it would be, but I guess there were a lot of red flags in that last relationship, and I don't know if there's somebody out there that's going through even 10% of this, and you just don't feel good about yourself in a relationship. Why are you in it? Just for the few highs that you have together, it's definitely not worth it. And actually what you'll find is that if you stay in that, you become resentful towards that person. And the highs will become not so high. They'll feel more like a lukewarm bath, which that's not fun. And then the lows will be really low. And you'll just regret being in that relationship, and start to feel bad about yourself. Been there, done that. And I can honestly say that I've only been through one of these, and that was that most recent one that I had that was a bad breakup. And, made me want to rethink some things about life, and finally cutting that cord was like the best thing that I could have done. So I will say, let me just make sure I covered everything on the other page, and I did. So I wanted to say too that going through a relationship like this is a huge opportunity for forgiveness. So some of these things, if you're with somebody, you are a match in some way. So maybe somebody's untrustworthy, and maybe there's ways where you're not trusting yourself. Maybe it's not a direct reflection like, oh, I'm untrustworthy too. It's just that, no, you're not trusting in your own tuition. So trust in your own tuition, and you break away from this, and that you no longer need that reflection of someone in your life that is being untrustworthy, because now you trust yourself. Speaking for myself here and hoping that this helps somebody else as well. So huge opportunity for forgiveness, to look within and say, what can I fix about myself? Forgiveness does not mean that you stay with that person. I mean, you might, but if you're having all of these things happen, or so many off-putting things happen in a relationship, get out, and then you can do your own forgiveness work within. Forgiveness is for you, it's not for the other person. It does eventually affect that other person, and it frees you both, whether they're conscious of it or not. But forgiveness is for you, so that you can, it's like a sandbag holding you down. So when you forgive, you're, letting yourself go. You're now soaring high because you don't have that thing bogging you down anymore. So forgiveness is your inner work. It's for you, and you don't even have to tell anybody you're doing it. Nobody has to know. But you are going to feel your energy shift when you go through these, go through forgiveness. So going through this type of relationship, I'm going to say for me, it was about choosing myself. It's about self-love, taking care of yourself, trusting yourself, giving yourself that self-care, and fully accepting yourself. And I'm just, for some reason, I want to say lumps, bumps, bruises, and all. I don't know why I'm wanting to say that, but maybe somebody needs to hear that. accepting yourself like you were your own best friend. What kind of friend do you need? What kind of best friend do you need? What kind of parent do you need? Whatever that is, show up for yourself as that. Like, be your own guide. Be your own best friend. Treat yourself the way that you would want a best friend or a partner to treat you. Because until that happens, you're not going to have somebody else come in and just accept all of you. There's always going to be these problems. And I'm going to say, speaking firsthand, until you deal with some of these issues, the relationships will get worse and worse. Until you fix some of these things on the inside, then you won't have to have that kind of relationship show up anymore. It's like magic, So, also, if you feel like there's nothing better out there for you, trust me, there is. There's a lot of fish in the sea. Anything is going to be better than somebody lying to you. Somebody mentally abusing you and telling you that you can't trust your own intuition when your intuition was spot on in the first place. Anything's better than that. Even a mediocre relationship is better than somebody just lying to you all the time, cheating on you, breaking their promises, putting you down, all of these other things. Also, I should say this, pay attention to how somebody treats their pets. If they have trouble feeding their pets, like never feeding them, on time or forgetting and stuff like that, neglecting their pets or leaving their pets alone for like an entire day when it could have been controlled, or if they're saying bad things about their pet, it's like an innocent animal. So, pay attention to how somebody treats innocent animals. That's a huge telltale sign of someone's inner character. It's another, by their fruits you shall know them. How do they treat people? How do they treat people that, like, let's say that you meet somebody on the street or a bum on the street that you're never going to gain anything from. How do they treat those people? Are they mean to them? Are they making fun of them? Are they judgy? Are they making fun of people's weight? Are they making fun of people's nose? Or, if somebody's constantly doing that, they're going to be doing it to you and they're doing it to themselves on the inside. And that's not a fruitful, state of mind or somebody you want to hang around. What is meant to find you, I should say this too, what is meant to find you will find you. Trust in life, trust in your own guidance, that what's meant for you will come. You'll be much better off, and when the smoke clears, you'll be so happy that you moved on. So that's my story. Maybe, we'll delve into it more or in a different way at a different time, but I just really felt the need to come on here and share that. And maybe some of these things will be triggering to people, because some of these things are hard to hear. And, back when let's say like a month after I went through that breakup, there's no way I could have talked about all of that. It would have been way too triggering. It would have been angry, wanting to have revenge and all that, whatever. But now, like, it's none of it. It's like water under the bridge at this point. I've gone through the fire of it, and everything is so much better off on the other side. You can focus on your goals, focus on relationships that do matter, and friendships, and, working on yourself, and then you can be open to other romantic relationships as well. So I do want to mention too that coming soon, I don't have a specific date for it. I am going to be releasing a meditation app that is going to have some chants. It's going to have some guided meditations. Some of it will be just me speaking with some background music, and I'll be guiding you through a meditation about releasing anxiety, or like a gratitude meditation. There's a lot of different things going on there, but doing a meditation here every Friday locally where I live. And so I thought, I need to have an app where I've got all of these recorded and have some specific things for people to meditate on. I'm also going to have some music and binaural beats and frequencies that are going to help to heal the body. And they all do, every frequency kind of does a different thing for the body and the mind. So I'm going to have some of those things out there that you can listen to while you're sleeping and gain the benefit of that and heal from it. And I'm also going to be releasing probably the beginning of next year of 2026. A Course in Miracles. That's the book that I study. That's like my bread and butter. And I have a few very close friends that I've met through A Course in Miracles retreats and things like that. I kind of want to give a shout out. There's a channel out there called Channeling Jesus and Ananda, and that lady's name is Tina Louise Spalding, and I started listening to her in 2019 after my dad passed, and honestly, once I found that channel, I started binging because everything just made sense. I was like working out at the gym, doing some squats that day, and I just had my headphones on and I started listening to one of her videos, and I was like, oh, that makes total sense. Click, listen to the next one. Oh yeah, that makes total sense. So I just binged for months on her stuff and felt my vibration rise. So if you're looking for more content and things like that, I do have some others in mind, but I want to make sure I get the channel names correctly, and so I'll give those out in the next one. But highly recommend that. But she's a teacher of Course in Miracles and channels about it, and Course in Miracles is, like I said, my bread and butter, and it's all about forgiveness and reflecting inward and standing up for yourself and being at peace. I don't know, there's a whole lot, and I'm not even doing it justice, like in any way, but I'd highly recommend it. You could probably get it on, just give it a Google and you can purchase Course in Miracles, and highly recommend doing the daily lessons. But I'm going to be coming up with some videos that have, I will read the lesson and I'll have some background music, and you'll be able to do the meditations with the music. So that is also something coming soon. And for now, I'm going to leave it there. And everybody have a great day. If you're struggling through some of this stuff, I hope you get what you need, and maybe you heard something here that you needed to hear. And stay with it. You can make it through, and you'll be better on the other side. Take care, guys.